to another beer review. Now today we've got a bit of an interesting one. Again, it's another one of the Adrian Pennicott collection, which was some beers that were nicely donated by Adrian, so thanks again. Now Adrian likes to tend to kind of follow a simple kind of formula, and it works quite simple. The higher the alcohol content, the more flavour in the beer. Might not always be the case, there is exceptions, but he finds that working with that type of formula, it doesn't usually go too wrong for him, which is fine. So we've got a bit of a different one, and I'd be totally honest, it's probably one that I wouldn't have bought myself initially, just on the basis is that there's so many different beers that I would like to review and try and everything else that you just can't do them all, so some have to be pushed to the wayside and see where we can go from there. So this is basically a Shepherd Mean and Company beer, and it's a Kentish strong ale. I did say Kentish, I might have wanted to say something else, but there we go, a Kentish strong ale. We'll try and get a Instagram thumbnail type thing. So it's a 1698, it's 6.5%. I don't know how much it's going to cost. I think it'd probably be between £2 and £3 a bottle probably. It's from Faversham in the market town, and it's a thrice hopped and bottled at the brewery. It's 500ml, it's like I say, it's 6.5%. Does it have any spiel on the bottle? Oh God, it does, but it's going to be really small. So it's bottle conditioned. The ale is a living product which continues to ferment in the bottle. This creates a natural sediment just like a real ale. So there we go. So it's bottle conditioned, there is a bit of sediment to it. So it's only local hops, malted barley, glucose syrup and water. From their own artisan well basically, and used to brew the 1698 bottle conditioned Kentish strong ale. So there we go, both, all good. So yeah, this will be interesting. It's trademarked. So yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to see what it's like. I can't really see if there's any kind of sediment in the bottle, but let's crack it open and see what it's like. Now, we will have a mini series coming up quite soon. It's going to be something a bit different, and probably something that's not easy to get round about the UK, never mind anywhere else in the world. Now, obviously that could be a good thing, depending on what they taste like, but look forward to that. That's going to be the first kind of mini series coming up in 2022, so that will be starting probably in the next couple of episodes. So let's see how this pours. I'm going to be obviously careful if it's got sediment in it, because I don't want to end up having sediment in the glass. But it being a dark bottle, that could be quite living difficult. But we'll see. Can I be totally honest? You can see no bloody sediment at all, so is that a lot of willy piss? I don't know. Well, there is a teeny wee bit. Jesus God, seriously. See more sediment in a fart. Anyway, so yes, it's a very clear beer for bottle conditioned, and I'm talking about absolute, not even enough to cover the nail, put it that way. Yeah, so there's nothing seems to be sitting in the bottom of the glass, as you can see. So let's see what it smells like. Getting malt, getting caramel, not really getting any hops, no grains or grassy smells, no florals. Seems to be a lot of no's and not much yes. So yeah, it's got the malted caramel smell, and that's really it. So let's see what it tastes like. Well, there's a question. So it's malty. It's very malty. A little bit of bitterness, again more of a kind of malty, kind of molasses bitterness. Doesn't really have any hoppy bitterness to it. In fact, I'm struggling to taste any hops at all. Let's break this down. Start in the mouth, we're getting malt and sweetness. That kind of what we call kind of Ovaltine, kind of or what we call malt kind of extract, and sweetness, kind of slightly caramel sweetness. Not strong enough or dark enough to be a toffee, but more a kind of a lighter caramel. So light caramel sweetness with the kind of malty overtones of a bit of the kind of what we call the Ovaltine, or a malted shake type scenario if you're coming from America, or malt extract. Then it gets a little bit darker. The malt kind of obviously builds up in the kind of mid-tongue and gets stronger, and the sweetness backs off. The caramel kind of dissipates as it comes into the mid-tongue, because obviously the malt is becoming more intense, and it builds up towards the aftertaste, which is a kind of malty, molasses, gentle bitterness, just that kind of gentleness. And again, you're probably maybe getting accents of toffee or very kind of burnt sugar, so little accents of sweetness, but it's just really kind of finishing off to a kind of light bitterness, but very light, very gentle. The problem is with the malt and that kind of sweetness. It's a nice beer, it is a nice beer, but for 6.5% it tends to kind of fool you. You don't get that feeling of alcohol because of the sweetness. I think if there was a bit more bitterness to it, or a little bit more hoppiness to it, then you would probably feel the higher alcohol content at 6.5%. But with this, no, you don't. You don't really feel that at all. It's a nice beer, yeah. Don't know where the 3 hops come in. Thrice hopped. There might be ever so slight accents of hops I'm getting, ever so slight, but really it's nearly all malt. I'd really have to go searching for it, and even then, am I really finding the hops there, or am I just basically going searching for it and finding something I'm looking for rather than it actually being there? So I'm not going to say there's a hoppiness to it, because I don't really feel there is. I feel it's really all kind of malts, which isn't a bad thing, not a problem. What would I give it out of? What would I give it out of 10? Well, see, this is a bit of a different one, because you're expecting, if you read the bottles, you're expecting to get a certain type of beer with a certain type of kind of flavour profiles. The problem is, though, when you do start drinking it, it's giving you something else, and it's not giving you the kind of flavours that you'd expect, and it's not giving you the flavour profiles that maybe you actually want as well. Because remember, your first process of buying a beer is, if you don't know it, is to look to see what it tells you about it. That's your first kind of a point of reference and information, and that's what you're really going to do. So you're going to look at price, you're going to maybe look at the type of beer it is, and also kind of any spiel or information in the bottle that's going to give you any kind of flavour profiles, maybe aroma profiles, or even just kind of how it's kind of brewed. And that's the kind of information you're looking at to think, I'll give this a go, it sounds really quite nice. The problem is though, this isn't really delivering so much as what you think going by the spiel in the bottle and the information on the bottle. So if you went by that point of view, it's probably quite disappointing. But it's a nicely brewed beer, you can see it's a nicely brewed beer. Nicely balanced. Sessionable. Borderline, I would say. It's got enough flavour and character just to kind of tip it off the kind of sessionable. But I honestly believe that if maybe you'd had a couple of lighter beers, but of a similar kind of thing, maybe a couple of Abbott's Ales or Old Speckled Hen or something like that. If you had a kind of bit of a lighter beer and then went on to that, then I think maybe you could maybe start making this sessionable, because it really is borderline. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, because it is a well brewed beer and it is a nice beer. It could have got more if it was delivering on what it said in the bottle, or if it didn't say what it said in the bottle, then you'd maybe get a bit more points from that point of view. But yes, I can only really give it a 6 because it's not really giving the flavour profiles that you thought you were going to get. But yeah, it's a nice beer. Still try to find hops and I just really quite can't find them. But anyway, that's us for this evening. Thanks for watching. Cheers and bye for now.